Good morning on the West Coast and good afternoon on the East Coast. Welcome to 30 Minutes to Better Business Results. My name is John Witt. I'm your host. I'm a certified Focal Point business coach, a recognized leader in the Focal Point International Coaching Organization, an author, and many other things, including even a golf junkie. And we'll talk about the Uncommon Results program before we close out the show. Today I want to mention that the Q&A feature is available, and if you have any questions, and you can type those on your screen, and we'll be able to answer those. I want to talk about a new program real quick that we've got, and our guest, Ross Ricks, was unable to attend today. He came down with a cold, and so he's asked me to kind of figure out how to run this show without him, and so we're going to do that. And so we're going to talk a little bit about continuing education units for Focal Point classes for CPAs and financial planners. We're going to talk a little bit about what we've done over the last couple of weeks with Nestor Mendoza and Dr. Shah, and then we're going to do a little 10-minute time management presentation. And I'm really interested to see what kind of feedback we get from this. I've gotten some pretty positive ones, and it's actually a presentation that's available on my LinkedIn page, right? So again, Q&A, you can enter a question. JB's running a board, and he'll be able to tell me that that question is available, and he'll give me the question so I can answer it. So talking about continuing education units, a lot of the programs that we do here at Focal Point from a training standpoint are really appropriate to a lot of different governing bodies, and the governing bodies for CPAs and financial planners have agreed to let our Communicate with Power and our time management programs be continuing education units for their needs, to satisfy the needs they have for education on an annual basis to stay up to speed. And so we'll have some more information on that. We've got some new stuff on the website as well. And the website's businesswhip.com. Uncommon Results, we're going to be doing the presentation here in Irvine on Wednesday next week, the 13th. Here at my offices in Irvine. We're actually going to be recording that presentation, so we're going to be able to share that live with you. And this is really the achievement process. What does it take to achieve anything, whether it's golf, or which is where my role plays is golf, because I'm a bit of a golf junkie, but is it golf, or is it business, or some other activity? And we're going to go through that whole model and how does that work, and be able to share that with you after next week. All right, so before we get on to the 10-minute time management presentation, I want to talk about Nestor Mendoza, who was on the show 2 weeks ago, and Nestor reported that he was one of our pioneers, one of our pilot guests on the Hangout, and he reported that his net revenues were up 25% in less than 4 months from being on the show. And so that really goes to show what kind of results we got when we can get out of the working in the business. Now, Nestor's a mechanic, and I don't know anything about being a mechanic, so I don't help him from a mechanical standpoint. But what I can do is help him understand how to run a business a little bit more effective. And we talked about the pillars of persuasion, and how to use the authority pillar to improve his reach and his target and his marketing activity. And he was able to do that, and again, he's generated 25% more in revenues. And then we went through a couple other things and added some new stuff. So that was 2 weeks ago, and if you're interested in checking that out, I suggest you do that. It's on YouTube at this point. Also, last week we had Dr. Shah on the show, and Dr. Shah is a chiropractor. There were 3 things that we really uncovered there in talking to her. Number one, she talked about the benefits of her services and her sister that had gotten into a car accident, and how she was able to literally in fairly short order eliminate much of the pain that her sister was experiencing. Then we talked about a patient that she had that was experiencing fibromyalgia, and I didn't know this, but fibromyalgia, and I've heard about it, but I don't experience it, but I didn't know that the chiropractic activity can really help adjust that pain. And literally in 4 weeks, she was able to take 90% of the pain this poor lady was feeling away, and Western medicine hadn't been able to do that in over a year. So another big deal in chiropractic. And then we talked about insurance and all of the code changes and everything else that's up to speed that's necessary for her profession, and actually the medical and dental professions, to come up to speed with the Affordable Care Act. And we were actually looking to see if anybody in the audience had a solution that would convert the codes from the old codes to the new codes, because there literally are thousands. And then we went into a Gleischer's formula business where, because in her particular case, overcoming the lack of knowledge or educational ignorance, lack of knowledge that people have about her profession, chiropractic, is one of her big challenges, right? It provides great benefits and great values, but not everybody understands it, believes it, and kind of connects with it. So those are the things that we talked about in the last couple of weeks with Nestor Mendoza and Dr. Shah. And so you can catch those videos on the playlist, the Better Business Results playlist on the YouTube channel. So today we're going to go through this little thing. It's called a 10-minute time management program. And I think I've got access to a slide deck here, so as soon as it comes up, we'll go ahead and get started, right? So the whole key to this is to manage your time, or it will manage you. And what I tell people all the time is are you managing your business, or are you running your business, or is your business running you? And unfortunately, in the small business environment, we see that the business is running the owner almost all the time. As soon as that phone call comes in, he's got to run and take care of something. He just run. He never has time to get anything done or make any progress. And so the key in this case, what we're going to talk about is how do we get out of that bash? Now, it's not going to happen because you snap your fingers and it's over and it's done. It's going to happen with a planned strategy. All right. So one of the things that we do, one of the key rules behind this activity is that you cannot do everything, but you can do anything. And the key is to figure out what it is that is most important, what it is that really helps you be successful. Now, we know that, again, most of us make a to-do list, and most of us don't seem to get through the whole to-do list, right? But successful people are similar in the sense that they don't get through their whole to-do list, but they make sure that the most important things get done. They make sure that the most important things get done every time. And that's really the key. This is the prioritization. This is making sure that I get the most important thing done first, second most important thing second, right? Because nobody gets everything done. It doesn't happen that way. All right, so the best time management tool is the word no, right? There are two really important critical words in time management. The first one is no. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this, right? How can I focus in on what's most important? So I really have to not get distracted. How can I manage those kinds of things? So the word no is super, super important. And then the second one is delegate, and we'll talk about that in a later session. All right, so the key to the word no is to have a planning process, right? We have to have a planning process that is effective and allows us to identify the most important planning tools. Now, here's some different folks that have built planning models. Franklin Covey, Chet Holmes, just whether you have a piece of paper and a pen and you're doing a to-do list, or the ABCDE method. And we're going to talk about the ABCDE method today as a way for you to be more effective in your planning process. Right? So essentially, every day, week, whenever you're doing this, and we recommended that you spend 30 minutes every morning your day organized, because that's how you're going to focus on getting the most important thing, right? We're going to identify things that are A level, right? These are absolutely due. If we don't do them, they have some consequences, maybe very serious consequences. B, these are things that we should do. These are things that have some good value, right? But the consequences aren't quite so dire if they don't get done. C, you can kind of do those anytime you want. D, you can delegate those. Or E, should we even just get rid of these things in the first place? So that's really what we're going to be talking about here with the ABCDE method. All right, so you're going to start with A, right? And we're going to take all of the A's. So take your to-do list, say there's 10 things on it, but you may have 2 A items, right? So then we're going to break it down, and we're going to do an A1 and an A2, right? So we identify even our A-level priorities sometimes have some prioritization, right? And the key is to start with A1 and do nothing else until it's done, right? And then you do A2. And this is how you always get the most important things done. But the key is asking yourself every 20 minutes throughout the day, is this the most important thing I can be doing right now to achieve my goals? Right? Because what happens if you start on A1 and it takes too long, right? We don't have time to get into A2. So you have to do your planning. And I will tell you that there are 2 reasons why things don't get done, why people make mistakes and say at the end of the day they didn't get what they wanted done. Number 1 is they didn't allocate any time to get it done, right? So you want to take your A1 priorities that you've planned and you've decided are the most important things, and then you want to put them on your calendar in a space where you can allocate time to them. Because if we don't allocate time, often we end up getting distracted and doing some other things. And the second most important thing is to allocate the correct amount of time. When we allocate the correct amount of time, we can get something done. And most often, especially if it's something that we haven't done before, we have a tendency to underestimate the amount of time that it takes for anybody to do anything, right? Especially if it's the first time doing it, right? The first time always takes a little bit longer. So we encourage you to add in a fudge factor. So if you think it's going to take an hour, plug in an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half on your calendar. If you get done early, you got plenty of things to do. That's really not an issue. But we want you to make sure that you, A, get it on your calendar, and B, estimate the amount of time, give yourself a little fudge factor so that you can get it done. Otherwise, you end up moving things on your calendar around all the time, and that's not really that good. So you're going to focus on A1 and then A2, and then every 20 minutes making sure that you're doing the most important thing, right? So you do a little check. The idea is to get down and knuckle down and focus for 20 minutes at a time to just really start cranking this stuff out. All right? We're talking about planning your day. Right? And so for every minute, and these are studies that have been done, I didn't make this stuff up. For every minute spent in planning, you will save 10 minutes in activity planned for the day. Right? Now that's pretty impressive, right? So just the fact that we're not having to figure out as we go along what it is that we're working on, that we've got a good plan, so make your plan, work your plan. We've heard that before, right? Set aside 30 minutes each day to plan, and you could do it in the morning for the rest of the day, or you could do it in the evening for tomorrow. Either one of those works fine, but definitely set some time aside every day for your planning. And here's your plan your day exercise, right? Spend 2 to 3 minutes and write down all the tasks that you need to get done that day, right? Let's just make a complete list of all the things that are important to get done that particular day, right? And now we're going to go through and we're going to say, hey, which of these are A's, B's, C's, D's, and E's, right? We want to make sure that we get the most important things done. Right, and then we have to prioritize the A's, the B's, and the C's, right? And then if you have any D's or E's, can you delegate them or eliminate them, right? Now I got to be honest with you. In today's world, you know, the A's dominate, and sometimes that's all we can get done, right? But at least you're getting the most important thing done. Sometimes you get to the B's, that's great, and often, you know, I don't get to the C's very often, right? I have a list of things that I'd like to do that's longer than my arm, and the C's are good ideas, but they're never as good as the A's and the B's, and my time is taken up with the A's and B's. That's kind of how my world works. I think that happens for a lot of folks. All right, now, if you were in the workshop I do with this 10-minute one, this is like a little half-hour workshop that I do for folks, then you would turn to the person on your right and take a minute and share what's the most important thing that you will complete. So take a look at your list, right? If you've made your list, take a look at your list and identify what is the most important thing. And now, when you want some help in getting the most important thing done, accountability, big challenge for all of us, right? Because we say we're going to get it done and then we don't do it. Or we do something that we said we weren't going to do. I mean, this happens all the time, and it happens whether it's health and nutrition and eating an ice cream or in business. I'd much rather have a conversation with somebody than do paperwork, right? That's pretty normal, but yet the paperwork might be really, really important. So from an accountability standpoint, if you tell somebody else what your intentions are, right, it's much more valuable to you to keep your intentions, because what happens is that other person, if they knew that you didn't keep that intention, that other person might think differently about you, right? So when you make a commitment to somebody else, right, it's actually a little stronger than a commitment that you make to yourself. When you put something on the calendar, that's a commitment to yourself, right? I'm committing to spending those minutes there. When you tell somebody else that that's what you're planning to do, then you're bolstering that commitment with an even stronger promise. I missed the button. Oop. So, back, sorry. Going a little slow on me here. My slides are stuck. Okay, so remember to prioritize. It's the #1 thing that you need to do to move your business forward. And then continually ask yourself, does that substantially help you toward achieving your goals? Is that the most important thing that you could be working on? But prioritize on a daily basis, right? It may not take 30 minutes. Maybe it only takes 15 minutes, but do it every single day, and you'll get more accomplished, and you'll get the most important things accomplished, which is the key to time management, right? Nobody can do everything. That is impossible. What you got to do is you got to figure out what the most important thing is to do. All right? Most important thing is if your answer is no, it's very simple. Use no all the time. No, that doesn't fit into my plan. No, that isn't. No, I'm not going to run around like a person with my hair on fire all day, reacting and responding to all of the phone calls and the emails and the emergencies. I'm going to focus on doing the things that are most important for my particular business. It's really that simple. So no, 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 no. That's the key, is get that into your head. All right, and with this presentation, there's a little offer if you're interested in having a conversation about how to focus and be more engaged in your time and how to identify what your priorities are and how to prioritize your tasks and how to use your calendar. Give us a call because we can help you. That's what we do, and that's a free session, so just give us a ring. We're happy to spend a little bit of time with you on that. And now I just want to say thank you. That's the end of this particular presentation. So that's the 10-minute time management presentation. It's really remarkable if you were to spend 10 minutes managing your time, how more effective your day would be. And I will tell you, in my work with hundreds of different clients, there are two things that I focus on almost every single client right away. Now they come in and they say, I want more sales, I want more marketing, I need to manage my team better. At the end of the day, there's two things that are really important, and they almost always, 99.9999% of the time, dominate the first few sessions. Number one, communication skills. Right? If we can't communicate effectively what it is that we want, what it is that we need, what it is that we're trying to get accomplished, then we're going to struggle trying to get those things accomplished. If we don't do it in the right manner, especially if we're doing it with somebody else, then we're not going to be as effective in those communication activity or in getting the results that we want. And the second thing is time, right? If we don't manage our time effectively, and if you're trying to break a habit or learn some new things, right, you're going to have to add that time into your calendar to make that happen. And so sometimes learning to manage your time more effectively is what has to go onto your calendar. And it's going to take practice, it's going to take some energy, it's going to take some effort, but you can do it. A lot of people have done it, and we're here to help if that's something that would be helpful for you. But anyway, that's time management, and so we're glad that you joined us for a little bit today. Check out our past YouTube videos where we've got Nestor Mendoza talking about his growth, and we've got Dr. Ami Shah talking about her profession, her chiropractic profession. Next week, again, we're going to have uncommon results or achieving uncommon results. We'll have some videos coming up for that kind of stuff. A lot of fun. If there's anything that we can help you with, if there's anything that you'd like to talk about from a business standpoint, you can reach us at the website. And website's right there, businesswit.com. And then if you're interested in, for example, the continuing education units, this is a brand new program just announced this morning, where we're going to be able to take the programs that we've done already, time management and communication power, communication, right, and time management, two most important things, and actually be able to provide continuing education units for CPAs and financial professionals. So we're really excited about that. And if that's something you'd like some information on, either give us a call, send us an email, or jump on the website, send us a contact us screen, and we'll reach back out to you to tell you a little bit about what's going on there. All right, so we're going to end our show just a little bit early today. We didn't have a guest. Ross Ricks will be on the show another time. Small business owner, owns Surf City Music in Surf City Sound in Huntington Beach, and does lots of sound systems. Kind of really neat small business. I thought you might like that. So until then, signing off for 30 minutes of Better Business Drill. Let's get your 3 action items off the information we talked about today, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week.